You don't take authority. So, gentlemen, we need absolute silence, please.
In a continuation of their onslaught on our land, the Fulani militia have unbelievably stormed and unleashed terror, bloodshed, and destruction in the following communities just within the span of 2 weeks. What is most surprising is the ability of these militia to successfully continue to test the powers of the military by carrying out their well-orchestrated evil acts of killing, maiming, and burning hundreds of houses for several hours without little or no intervention by the security forces. Since the security personnel find it difficult to engage these heartless murderers when they arrived at the scene of the attack, it left us to wonder whether they are under oath or instruction not to confront and shoot the assailants. The government should ensure that the perpetrators are fished out and brought to face the wrath of the law. We say enough is enough, looking at the casualties. In all the attacks in the 12 different villages as at today, July 2021, a total of 42 people were killed and 338 houses burned, with 7 people wounded. Several other valuables were not left out, as 8 cars, 13 motorcycles, generators, food and domestic items were either looted or consumed by fire. Our rivers, places of worship, were not spared also, as 7 churches and their pastorium were razed down by fire in various locations. At times, we can submit that the resolve of our desire for peace is under threat by this Fulani militia. We felt that we will be better off if we stay in peace as brothers, as it was the case in the time past. It is a well-known fact world over that all crises are not won at the battlefield, but at round table through discussions that could lead to amicable resolution of the crisis, with the parties determined to bring an end to it. The Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria once said that anybody found in possession of a deadly arm be shot at sight. But as I am talking to you, Fulani militia still graze in a land with AK-47 hounds on their shoulder and shot at any sight of a catamaran. At one point or the other, the security forces are called and they see them with it, but no arrest made. One begins to wonder whether the command by Mr. President is implementable or not, since the renewed persistence attack. This whole thing looks like the Fulani militia wants to grab and occupy our land. The Tia people are law-abiding citizens that have been loyal to all successive governments to date, and wonder why we should be left alone to carry our cross now. Based on this, we ask that government provide more troops, humanitarian relief materials, and a peaceful atmosphere for all. Else, we will be left with no other option than to protect ourselves using all legal means. This dastardly act, these agents of darkness have been identified by our people as Fulani herdsmen due to the language they speak, and some of them well known to by our people in the affected communities. We initially had the belief that the peace effort championed by our paramount ruler will yield the desired result as it was done in good faith. Little did we know that over time, the Fulani militia have seemingly ceased fire just to go and reinforce. On Wednesday this week, the GOC and the Director General of the Nigerian Army, Safe Haven, was in Zango local government, particularly at the palace of His Royal Highness. And we were all there with the Hausa representative, with the Fulani representative, and we discussed issues of mutual understanding. And it was resolved at that point that since that day, there will not be any attacks in the land again. And that was the assurance our Fulani brothers and the Hausa brothers gave to us. But I want to tell you, my brother, right that evening, Angwanjaba was attacked. And the same militia again went back to Oboya for the second time to continue what they started and from where they stopped. If we are not peace people, for God's sake, my brothers, in the whole of the chiefdoms and the emirates in Kaduna state, it is only in the Tiab chiefdom that we have a representative of the Fulani in the Council of His Royal Highness. It is only in the Tiab chiefdom that we have a representative of the Hausa in the Council of His Royal Highness. It is only in the chiefdom that we have a single district in the chiefdom that is purely Hausa Fulani district. It is also only in that chiefdom that we have one ward, a political ward, that is just for the Hausa Fulani at any time they produce their councillor. Now, with all this, what else could we have done? The whole Makaro houses are raised down. But go to the Hausa settlement, just the settlement you pass before you enter Makaro de Kachachere. That settlement is purely Hausa Fulani people. No single house, as I'm talking to you, was touched. And none of them is there now. They all ran for their lives. In fact, some of them maybe were thinking they knew of the attack. They left that place even before the attack was put on the village. But their houses are still standing. Their properties are still intact. Now, that is to tell you that we are peace-loving people. Since June 11 last year, most of the Fulanis that were resident in the Atiab villages after that crisis left on their own and moved to settle with their Hausa brothers in Zango.
Please,